Question 1. From the perspective of aerial lift safety during rooftop HVACR installation, what is the most appropriate course of action when the wind speed suddenly increases to 30 miles per hour while a team is working from a boom lift 45 feet high? A. Continue operations, but secure tools and materials more tightly to prevent them from falling. B. Immediately lower the lift and suspend operations until wind speeds return below acceptable thresholds. C. Proceed with caution, keeping the lift stationary and minimizing movement. D. Deploy tie-down straps from the lift to nearby structures to stabilize it in the wind. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA Standard 1926.453 B2 V explicitly prohibits using aerial lift during high winds. ANSI-R.2 further states that lift should not be used in sustained winds above 28 miles per hour due to increased risk of tip-over or loss of control. Continuing operations in 30 miles per hour wind compromises operator safety, especially at elevated heights where swaying and instability increase exponentially. Securing tools or using tie-downs does not mitigate the wind hazard itself. The only correct response is to suspend lift use until conditions are safe. Question 2. While examining an aerial lift being prepared for servicing roof-to-HVAC units, technician Is Ramirez notices the boom lift's hydraulic oil reservoir appears half full and there's slight residue under the chassis. What is the most appropriate step she should take before operation? Operate the lift carefully while monitoring for leaks during elevation. B. Immediately tag the equipment out of service and report the potential leak. C. Wipe the residue, top off the hydraulic oil, and proceed with operation. D. Perform function test of the lift and only report the issue if performance is affected. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. According to OSHA 1926.20 B2 and ANSI-R.22, any indication of a hydraulic leak or mechanical fault requires that the equipment be tagged out and inspected by qualified personnel. Even minor fluid loss can lead to failure of lift controls or stabilization systems. Continuing to operate with suspected issues violates the requirement to ensure equipment is in safe operating condition. Only trained mechanics should evaluate and clear such issues before resuming use. Question 3. Demonstrated by best practices in tool handling, what is the safest method for transporting a 40 lb refrigerant cylinder to the platform of a scissor lift at a job site? A. Secure it with a cargo net and raise it manually while standing in the lift. B. Use a hoisting mechanism to lift the cylinder to platform level, then secure it. C. Carry the cylinder by hand while riding in the lift, ensuring it's held upright. D. Have another technician toss it up from ground level and catch it safely. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. ANSI-R.22 and OSHA 1926.451 require materials over 25 pounds to be transported using hoisting methods rather than manual lifting from within aerial devices. Carrying heavy objects while ascending introduces a balance hazard, which can lead to falls. Tossing items or manually holding them is strictly prohibited. Hoists and material lifts must used to safely transfer loads to the platform without compromising stability or operator safety. Question 4. Contrary to popular belief, what is the primary risk associated with operating a vertical mast lift inside an HVACR facility with poor ventilation and overhead ducting? A. Insufficient lighting leading to operator eye strain. B. Risk of electrocution from overhead HVAC units. C. Tip-over hazard due to improper weight distribution and clearance. D. Exposure to refrigerants leaking from above. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Vertical mast lifts are prone to tip-overs if operated on uneven surfaces or near obstructions that shift the center of gravity. OSHA 1926.453 and ANSI-R.20 emphasize ensuring adequate clearance around lift platforms to avoid collisions that could destabilize the equipment. Overhead ducting and tight indoor spaces increase the chance of unintended contact, and any imbalance on the lift from personnel movement or load placement can lead to a catastrophic failure. Question 5. During a service call, Istijang is using a boom lift to access a rooftop exhaust fan. Mid-task, his lanyard detaches from the anchor point and he notices it's been frayed. What is the immediate and most compliant action he should take under OSHA and industry standards? A. Continue work cautiously, holding onto the basket railing for safety. B. Secure the lanyard manually with a knot and notify his supervisor later. C. Cease all work, descend the lift, and replace the lanyard with a compliant one. D. Ask a coworker to bring him another lanyard while he remains on the platform. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. According to OSHA 1926.502 D and ANSI, all fall arrest equipment must be in good condition and immediately removed from service if compromised. A frayed lanyard poses an immediate fall risk and is non-compliant. Work cannot continue under any circumstance without proper fall protection in place. Descending the lift and obtaining replacement equipment is mandatory. Railings or temporary fixes violate PPE safety standards. Question 6. What factors contribute to the requirement for ground personnel to be trained in emergency descent procedures during aerial lift operation? A. OSHA requires all site employees to be trained on all equipment. B. To allow any worker to troubleshoot lift problems without supervision. C. In case the operator becomes incapacitated or the platform controls fail. D. So workers could perform routine maintenance on the lift from the ground. Answer. Correct answer. See explanation. OSHA 1926.453 BU Roman and ANSI.24 require that all personnel designated as part of aerial lift operations must be trained on emergency lowering systems. If the operator is unable to control the lift due to medical issues or mechanical failure, ground personnel must safely lower the platform to prevent prolonged exposure or complications. This is a critical component of safe aerial lift use and emergency response planning. Question 7. During the process of operating a scissor lift to install ductwork on the third floor of a building under construction, technician is to act to observes a slight but continuous drift of the platform while stationary. What should be his first response? A. Use wheel chocks to manually secure the lift's position. B. Continue work and report the issue after the shift. C. Stop work, lower the platform, and remove the lift from service for inspection. D. Ask coworker to stabilize the base by standing nearby. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Any uncommanded movement or platform drift can indicate hydraulic or mechanical malfunction and poses a significant safety threat. OSHA 1926.20 B2 and ANSI.22 state equipment must be removed from service if not operating as intended. Wheel chocks or human stabilization are not acceptable fixes for powered mobile equipment. Continuing to work introduces high risk of tip over or mechanical failure. Immediate inspection and resolution are required. Question 8. Given the circumstances of working near overhead power lines during an HVACR installation, what minimum safe clearance must be maintained by the aerial lift platform? A. 5 feet for voltages up to 50th. B. 10 feet for voltages up to 50th. C. 15 feet for voltages below 1th. D. Contact the utility company for voltages above 120th only. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA 1926.453 B3 mandates maintaining a minimum clearance of 10 feet from energized power lines for voltages up to 50th. For voltages greater than 50th, the clearance increases incrementally. Contact with overhead lines is a leading cause of aerial lift fatalities. Planning and pre-job hazard assessment must include utility line mapping and volt identification to ensure appropriate distancing and protective measures. Question 9. While performing diagnostics on a rooftop HVAC system, is Delgado's operating a boom lift and receives an unclear radio message about an incoming crane delivery. What is the safest and most regulation-compliant action? A. Continue working until the crane's position is confirmed visually. B. Move the boom lift closer to observe the delivery. C. Lower the lift and relocate to safe zone until clear communication is restored. D. Ignore the message and proceed with diagnostics as normal. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Effective communication and situational awareness are critical components of OSHA-compliant aerial lift operation. OSHA 1926.21 B2 and ANSIA.24 stress the importance of maintaining safe distances from other active equipment and responding proactively to potential hazards. Poor communication is a red flag in job site safety. Until the full scope of the crane's activity is understood, the safe action is to move to a designated exclusion zone and clarify the situation. Question 10. To illustrate this point, how should HVACR technicians manage electrical tool cords while working at height from a scissor lift platform? A. Drape cords over the guardrails for quick access. B. Coil cords on the floor of the platform near the feet. C. Secure cords overhead or along guardrails using approved clamps or cable trays. D. Hang cords loosely outside the platform for extra length. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Improper cord management can lead to tripping, entanglement, or entrapment hazards. OSHA 1926.416 and ANSIA.22 require that cords be secured in a manner that prevents falls or interference with lift operation. Using approved clips or cord management systems ensures a clean, safe work area. Cords should never obstruct controls, create tripping hazards, or hang loosely where they could catch on external structures. Question 11. During a rooftop HVAC install using a boom lift, the operator parks on a gravel incline with the boom extended. Which of the following is the greatest immediate hazard? A. Tire blowout from uneven surface pressure. B. Hydraulic fluid overheating. C. Structural failure due to wind stress. D. Lift tip over due to unstable base. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. According to OSHA 1926.451 C2 and ANSIA.22, aerial lifts must be used on firm, level ground. Parking on a gravel incline shifts the center of gravity, greatly increasing the risk of tip over, especially with the boom extended. The stability of the lift is compromised by the uneven load distribution and loose surface material. Question 12. Which of the following is not a required component of a pre-use inspection checklist for an aerial lift used in HVAC or rooftop operations? A. Function of tilt alarms and emergency controls. B. Structural integrity of the chassis and guardrails. C. Certification status of the HVAC technician. D. Condition of wheels, outriggers, and platform entry gate. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. While technician certification is essential, it is not part of the equipment's pre-use inspection checklist. OSHA 1926.453 B2 and ANSIA.22 mandate equipment-specific checks before each shift, including alarms, controls, structural components, and safety devices. Technician qualification is separate administrative requirement, not an equipment check item. Question 13. You are asked to operate an articulating boom lift to access ductwork inside a mechanical room with low overhead pipes. What is the safest maneuvering technique in this confined environment? A. Raise the boom first, then rotate to avoid lower obstacles. B. Use spotter assistance in ground level control movement where visibility is poor. C. Retract the boom fully and perform all movements from inside the platform. D. Avoid using the boom entirely and request scaffolding instead. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Confined indoor spaces require enhanced visibility and coordination. ANSIA.22 recommends using a spotter to help navigate blind spots and tight clearances. If visibility is limited, the ground operator may need to control the lift. This ensures safety while maneuvering near overhead obstructions. Question 14. What is the maximum allowable slope grade on which an aerial lift rated for 5-dig gradability may be operated as per manufacturer and OSHA standards? A. 7-dig B, 5-dig C, 12-dig D, 3-dig. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. OSHA requires operators to adhere strictly to manufacturer limitations regarding slope grade. A machine rated for 5-dig gradability must not be used on surfaces exceeding that angle. Violating this can result in lift instability or tip over, especially during platform elevation. Always refer to manufacturer specs per OSHA 1926.453 B2. Question 15. A lift operator accidentally drops a 20 EBITDA vac component from the platform. What is the most appropriate immediate corrective action? A. Secure remaining tools and materials, then continue work. B. Retrieve the item and resume operation after inspecting for damage. C. Stop work, report the incident, and review drop prevention protocols. D. Ask another worker to pass up a replacement item. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Dropping an object poses serious risk to people below. OSHA 1926.451 H1 requires dropped object protection and hazard correction. The operator must cease work, report the event, and reassess load, security, and tethering procedures before continuing. It is a near-miss incident that demands attention and documentation. Question 16. While operating a boom lift during rooftop HVAC coil replacement, your lift's joystick begins to lag and stick intermittently. What is the safest next step? A. Tap the joystick gently to restore functionality. B. Power cycle the unit and test the controls again. C. Stop work and remove the lift from service for maintenance. D. Continue operations but avoid sudden directional changes. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Intermittent or unresponsive controls present, a serious safety hazard. OSHA 1926.20 B2 and ANSI.22 require equipment to be removed from service if it is not operating properly. Continuing operations risk sudden platform movements or control failure, which can result in injury or equipment damage. Question 17. In accordance with OSHA and ANSI rules, when is it permissible to exit an aerial lift platform while elevated during HVAC rooftop service? When the lift is against a stable structure and the technician wears a double lanyard. B. Never under any circumstance. C. Only if manufacturer's guidance and qualified person have approved the procedure. D. If the operator keeps 3 points of contact and uses fall protection. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Exiting an elevated lift is highly restricted. OSHA and ANSI.22 allow it only under specific conditions, with manufacturer permission and authorization by a qualified person. Proper fall protection and safe transfer procedures must be in place. Blindly exiting, even with PPE, violates standard protocol unless formally approved. Question 18. A technician using a scissor lift to repair ducting inside a warehouse fails to close the entry gate after accessing the platform. What is the most significant hazard this creates? A. Electrical contact due to exposed control panel. B. Pinch point injury during platform elevation. C. Fall hazard from unguarded platform opening. D. Trip hazard from gate mechanism. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Leaving the entry gate open creates a fall hazard, one of the leading causes of aerial lift injuries. OSHA 1926.451 G and ANSI.22 require all access points to be closed and secured during operation. The entry gate is a critical component of fall protection and must remain closed when the lift is in use. Question 19. What is the primary purpose of setting the emergency stop stop button before performing maintenance on an aerial lift's control panel? A. Prevent the system from losing calibration. B. Reset the operating memory before powering down. C. Deactivate electrical functions and prevent unintentional movement. D. Lock the hydraulic system in extended position. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. B. Stop is a safety mechanism that disables the lift's controls and movement. OSHA 1926.453 B. Romana ANSI standards require disabling all energy sources before maintenance or troubleshooting. The stop helps prevent unexpected operation due to electrical faults, control signal errors, or mechanical failure during service. Question 20. Which of the following ground conditions would pose the highest risk when positioning a scissor lift for HVAC service outdoors? A. Fresh asphalt. B. Dry compacted gravel. C. Wet clay soil. D. A reinforced concrete slab. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Wet clay soil offers poor load-bearing stability and can shift under the lift's weight, especially when elevated. It significantly increases the risk of tilt or tip over. OSHA 1926.451 C2 requires aerial lift to be used on firm and stable surfaces. Wet or soft ground conditions must be mitigated or avoided entirely. Question 21. To illustrate this point, consider Maria, a licensed HVACR technician working near high-voltage rooftop units using a boom lift. During operation, she notices the lift's boom has drifted within 8 feet of 13.8 kV power line. What action must Maria take immediately to remain compliant with OSHA requirements? A. Continue work as the boom is still over 5 feet away. B. Proceed with caution and request ground spotter. C. Cease operation and reposition the lift beyond 10 feet of the power line. D. Notify a supervisor and wait until qualified electrician confirms safety. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. OSHA 1926.453 B3 mandates a minimum approach distance of 10 feet for power lines up to 50 kV at 13.8 kV. Maria's boom within 8 feet violates this clearance. The only compliant action is to stop work and reposition the lift to a safe distance. Spotters or supervisor notification do not override proximity violations. Question 22. Among the various hazards on a BIS HVACR construction site, which condition most warrants an aerial lift's immediate removal from service regardless of task urgency? A. Low tire pressure on one wheel. B. Non-functional tilt alarm system. C. Slight hydraulic fluid leak from valve. D. Accumulated dust on emergency controls. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Tilt alarms are critical for preventing tip-overs. ANSI.22 and OSHA 1926.453 B2 require fully operational safety systems before use. A non-functioning tilt alarm disables a vital protective feature, while other issues like low tire pressure or minor leaks require attention. The failure of a safety-critical system demands immediate lockout and service. Question 23. In the modern context of aerial lift usage in HVACR rooftop installations, what is the best method to secure hand tools to prevent falling objects from elevated platforms? A. Place tools inside a bucket secured to the platform floor. B. Use retractable lanyards anchored to the worker's harness. C. Rely on the lift's guardrails as physical barrier. D. Hand tools to coworker on the ground between tasks. Answer. Correct answer. Explanation. OSHA 1926.451 H and ANSI.22 recommend securing tools in tethered containers or buckets to avoid dropped object incidents. Retractable lanyards on harnesses are not recommended due to swing hazards and tool interference. Proper containment, such as secured bucket, minimizes fall risk and ensures compliance with dropped object prevention protocols. Question 24. From a practical standpoint, what is the most appropriate action if an HVACR technician is unsure of the weight of a rooftop unit part they are lifting onto the platform? A. Estimate the weight and test it manually before hoisting. B. Proceed slowly while watching for platform tilt indicators. C. Refer to the equipment's rated load chart and verify with manufacturer specs. D. Ask coworker to help judge the weight by feel. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Platform overload is a major hazard and a leading cause of accidents. ANSI.22 and OSHA 1926.451 F1 require operators to verify loads using manufacturer data. Guessing, manual testing, or relying on subjective judgment is unsafe. The load chart and equipment manual provide the only safe reference point for lift capacity. Question 25. The development of improved lift control systems aims to prevent sudden jerky movements. During HVAC installation, technician Marcus notices his lift jerking during descent. What is the likely cause and what action should follow? A. Hydraulic fluid is low. Top it off and continue operation. B. Environmental temperature is too cold for safe descent. C. The proportional valve or control circuit is malfunctioning. Remove from service. D. Battery voltage is fluctuating. Recharge and continue. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Jerky platform movements typically stem from valve or control malfunctions, not just fluid or temperature issues. OSHA 1926.453 B2 and ANSI.20 require lifts to be taken immediately out of service if performance is erratic. Continuing operation may result in sudden platform drops or operator injury. Question 26. While examining HVAC duct sealing on a lift, Jamal positions the platform under a suspended beam with 14 inches of overhead clearance. Which practice would best protect him from crushing injuries if the platform rises too far? A. Install a proximity alarm on the lift. B. Use a hard hat with chin strap and keep knees bent. C. Maintain headroom by manually checking distance during operation. D. Rely on anti-crush protection and avoid unnecessary vertical motion. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Crushing injuries are a serious hazard when working near overhead structures, and CR.20 recommends anti-crush secondary guarding devices and strict vertical movement control in confined spaces, while PPE helps. Eliminating unnecessary vertical motion and relying on installed protective systems is the most compliant and preventive approach. Question 27. The core principles of platform discipline during HVACR lift work emphasize which of the following behaviors is unsafe even with fall protection? A. Using both hands to drill into overhead ductwork. B. Adjusting your footing while standing fully inside the guardrails. C. Leaning your torso beyond the platform rails to reach duct corners. D. Kneeling inside the platform to retrieve a dropped tool. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Leaning out of the platform, even with fall protection, violates OSHA 1926.453 B2V and ANSI.22, which prohibit body parts extending beyond guardrails. It increases the risk of falls and undermines engineer controls. Safe positioning and use of extension tools are required instead of physically reaching outside the platform. Question 20. According to recent studies, what type of terrain most increases the likelihood of lateral tipping when operating? A fully extended boom lift for HVAC rooftop fan replacement. A. Dry pavement with a slight slope. B. Compact dirt on a windy day. C. Crushed rock spread on uneven grade. D. Reinforced concrete slab with curb edges. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Crushed rock on an uneven surface combines two major hazards: instability and grade irregularity. When fully extended, the lift center of gravity is highly sensitive. ANSI.22 and OSHA 1926.451 stress the need for firm, level terrain. Crushed rock can shift, settle, or give way under concentrated pressure. Question 29. With respect to rooftop HVACR diagnostics, why is it critical to ensure the lift platform is level before using voltage testers on condenser units? A. Prevents tipping due to equipment vibration. B. Stabilizes the lift's electromagnetic signal grounding. C. Ensures accuracy of digital diagnostic tools. D. Reduces arc flash risk by minimizing movement. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Arc flash risks increase with unintentional movement, especially on uneven platforms where tools or hands can slip. OSHA 1910.333 and NFPA 7 stress stability during electrical work. A level platform ensures body control, tool precision, and prevents accidental contact with energized parts. It's a core safety principle during diagnostics. Question 30. Taking into account ANSI and OSHA aerial lift guidelines, what is the proper procedure for HVAC techs to use when coordinating tasks between two lifts working side by side? A. Communicate by radio and maintain visual contact. B. Ensure lifts are grounded to the same electrical source. C. Stand on guardrails to pass tools between platforms. D. Join platforms together with a secure plank. Answer. Correct answer. Explanation. OSHA and ANSI strictly prohibit bridging or transferring between aerial lifts. Communication and coordination must be via radio or visual signals. ANSI.22. Standing on guardrails or physically linking platforms violates fall protection and structural integrity rules. Safe coordination requires distance, communication, and individual task zones.